Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to dig into Spring AI and the embedding models. The trick and the purpose is here that we have an old jukebox where it only knows 20 songs, and then we can actually give this old jukebox the last song that we listened to, and then it will recommend one of these 20 songs that I have right here. Of course, you can use this technique to embed any of your company's data into the models, and then you can then get a similarity value out. So if you come with something else, that could be a question from a client or a customer, and then you would actually get the most likely answer out afterwards. So yeah, whatever you want to put into this machine right here, and whatever data you want to embed is of course only up to your own imagination. In this situation right here, we have these 20 songs in this old jukebox right here, and you can see we have some songs right here: Hotel California by Eagles, and then there's a short description of the song afterwards. We are feeding this to an OpenAI model, and we are configuring this manually. You can also configure this automatically by using the properties in Spring Boot, and there's some really good documentation on it on Spring's webpage right here. It doesn't describe the purpose, so if you don't know what an embedding is, then you have to figure out that by yourself before you can actually start reading up on this on Spring's webpage. But that is why this video is so awesome. Or one of the reasons, of course. So if you want to configure it by yourself, then you can read about how to do it here. You can set the model name somewhere. I need to go to OpenAI. So I'm playing with the OpenAI right now. The embeddings for OpenAI. And here you can of course you need an OpenAI key. I also have set my environment variable to one of the to an API key that I have right here. Another thing is that you need to do some configuration. If you don't want to create a bean like I did, then you can actually just set all of these weird stuff right here. There are really good default values. So the only thing that you actually need to think about is the model name. And let me just check. The model name that is used in this example right here is actually quite bad because it's a legacy model, so you should use the model that I'm using instead, or you can just ask Codex Cli or Claude or whatever on which models is recommended for embeddings, and if you want to use OpenAI's models. So here's the example. Here we are configuring it manually from Spring AI, and they're using this old model right here, text embedded 88002. That is legacy, and it's not recommended any longer. Let me show you my code right here. First of all, I have you need a dependency, which I'll show you right here. So you need the AI dependency. It is right here we have it, Spring AI starter model OpenAI, and that gives you access to all of the OpenAI's Java classes. Then you don't have to think about the API. It's just a part of the part of the framework. So that is quite cool. It's much easier nowadays than it was just like a year ago. If you wanted to do some AI with Java, it has become much better. So, but let us look at the configuration first. We are configuring this manually. So I am creating two beans. One of the beans are named OpenAI API, and here I am giving my key. Of course, you could hardcode it right here. I would not recommend you to do that. I recommend you to use an environment variable, just like I do here, because if you push your code, then of course other people can see and use your API code. Especially if it's an open repository that you're using, just like I am right here, you can feel free to check the code from my GitHub account afterwards. Here we have the model. So I'm using text embedding 3 small, which is a recommended model to use right now if you want to do some embedding. If you're too cheap to use the large one, of course you will get a better result with the larger model, but for this demo purpose, then the small model is perfect for me. And then you give a user. This user is used to be by OpenAI to track if there are any malicious things going on. Then they can actually see this. So this is optional. You do not need to apply a user here. It's just good for debugging situations, and if someone is using your key, then you can see that suddenly that there was another user using your API key. Okay, So this is the setup, the configuration right here, straightforward and quite most of them are default values except for the model right here that you have to set. Okay, so then now we come to the Spring Boot part right here. So this is my service, and I have 20 songs right here. So I'm creating a service right here. I have required Args constructor on, so that means that everything I set private final in front of it will be injected automatically through the constructor injection. So I will have my embedding model right here. This song embeddings right here. Let me just check that one actually, because this is actually, so we are creating this, this is not injected because we are creating this inside this service right here. And here, this is actually what we are filling up. As soon as we start up the application, then we have the post-construct area right here, the post-construct part, where we are putting each song into this song embeddings map that we have right here. So, and what we actually get back from this model, and that is what can confuse some people to begin with, is that first we are feeding the model with some custom data, some custom text, and what we actually get out is we are actually converting this data into vectors, into some numbers, and then we have these numbers. And what can we then use these numbers for? We can actually see how similar these texts are. So that means we can actually compare these songs with each other, especially now that that we have a description on them. Then we can actually see how similar, how equal are these texts to each other, and they get this by these vector numbers. And there is a mathematical function or method that you have to call, where you use the cosine operator. But I'll show that in just a minute right here. So you just get numbers returned. You don't get any result returned from the model. So when we call embedding model and then embed for response, then you're do not be disappointed when you just get numbers back. That's actually what we want. We want an array of numbers, of responses. And right here, sometimes you will see, also in the documentation and examples on the internet, sometimes you will see embed, and sometimes you will see embed for response. It is exactly the same thing. With document, you can add some more metadata, like if it's a picture, something like that, then you can also then you can give some metadata along with it. But it doesn't matter whether you're using but if you're using the embed and then list documents right here, that's the same as if you just use embed for response right here. So it's actually these methods right here, they do the exact same thing. They will take your text, they will convert it into numbers, and then they will give it some vectors that will show how similar these texts are. So then we get here we're getting the results, and you can see it's a list of embedding of the embedding class right here. So we get the list returns, and then we go through each of these songs right here. Then we get the index. That is So here we have the index, and then we will then use that index to place in our song embeddings. That's a map, so that means that we place the index in the map, and then we place the output. And the output, that's where we have the magic numbers. So right now we will just think about it as magic numbers. It's let's see here, it's an array of floats. So you just get these numbers back right here, and of course we can print them out, and we can also see how many tokens that we just spent with OpenAI. And then comes the comparison part. That is where we need to use a magical function right here. And the magical function, it is calculating the difference between the vectors that we are providing it with. So here we have one float array, and we have another float array right here. Then those are being compared with the square root with a square root. With two square root methods right here. And we are also doing something else. We are multiplying the values also, and then we get some numbers out right here. So if you want to get the meaning of what of the math behind this, then just look it up on the internet. It's used a lot of places in a lot of programming languages. Sometimes it's hidden in utility methods instead. But that is this method will just show us how similar two pieces of text are. And it is and that so we use if let's say that we want to recommend a new song with this method right here. So it means that I can give it a song that I just listened to, then I will get a new recommendation as a result. And the way to actually do that is first we need to convert the song that we just listened to into a vector also. So we need to convert that into to numbers also. That's what we're doing right here. And then we are comparing these numbers right here to all of the numbers that we just that we used for our embedding when we just started up our application. So that means that if we want to save some tokens, then instead of getting these values and these numbers whenever we start up our application, we could actually cache it into a file, for instance, or place it into a database. And then we could load these from our database when our application starts up, instead of just creating these every time our application runs. But this is a demonstration of the API, so we're not going to cache those numbers right now. So what are we going to do? We're going through each of the embeddings that we have right here, and then those were the magic numbers. Then we go through to each. First of all, we are filtering them. If they don't have the same key, then we just say we're not interested in them at all. If they have the same key, then we are interested in them, and then we will look at. Then we'll compare the values with our magic methods right here, and then we'll take the numbers from just listened to, and then we'll compare it to the numbers that we have in our already generated magic numbers from the embeddings. And then we will map them. Then we'll say, hey, we're only interested in the key. The key is that is the song. That is the song. That's the name of the song that we have right here. So we're mapping it to the song. So we're getting maximum. And then we say, give us the song name. And then if we did not find any at all, if there was no maximum, then we say no recommendation found. And right here we are getting the keys. That means we're getting the song, and then we say it should not equal to just listen to. So of course, if it's the same song that we just listened to, then we don't want to listen to it again. That's what we do with this filter right here. Just so we don't want to listen to the same song twice in our imaginable jukebox right here. I hope it makes sense. Or else it might do when we run the test. So because I have a cool test right here. So here we say, hey, Mike's OpenAI embedding service that we are injecting, that we are wiring that in automatically right here. And that was of course the class that you just saw with all of the songs and all of the embeddings that we just made, and also with the method where we can actually get a new recommendation. So here we say, recommend next song, and then we say I'm happy from Despicable Me. That is one song, and it was you can probably imagine what kind of music I'm listening to. It's for it's mostly for movies. So here we are singing Don't Stop Believing by Journey, uplifting rock anthem with piano intro, powerful chorus, and feel good energy. Okay, that was a good recommendation for me. Of course, if we fed this machine with this program with thousands of songs, maybe we'll get something that made more sense than just 20. So now we just have 20 random songs. We can also try Für Elise by Beethoven. So let's see what it then says now. What song is now recommended? Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Yes, there's some piano in that song, so that also makes sense. And of course, we can try out this all day, of course, all evening if you want to. So let me say result, another song. Result we are the champions. We are the champions. The champions. Queen. Here we say we are the champions. By Queen, Control Shift F10, run this test right here. And let's see what we get now. Again, now we get the Bohemian Rhapsody again, the same one right here. So let's say that we do not supply the information that is by Queen, just for fun. Let us see what it says then. We are the champions. Then we actually get a new one. So, and that is because it just looks at each text token, each word, and then it tries to see what is actually closest to that. What else could we try? Final countdown. Let's try that one. Let's just see what we then get out. Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Okay. Sound of Silence. Let's see. No, that's not by Queen. So let's try now. And now we got another one. Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Okay, so this is this method right here. It's awesome and very powerful because you can take the company data, and then you can use it to find similarities and patterns with other data. So you can use it to for recommendations. This is a very good use case. You can recommend something new and try to anticipate what kind of customer that you have, and then you can try to provide value and keep the attention of your customer longer. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for all of your comments as usual. Have a great evening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.